Bravo Bravo, good afternoon to you. Report your altitude? 2,000 feet.
Hi, Wycliffe Barrett here, and this week I went to Prague for my birthday with my wife and decided that I would do this review, Stansted and Praha in Czechoslovakia. Let's have a look. Here we are, we're just zooming in towards Stansted. Stansted Airport has been created by TDG, and he's very prolific. He does an awful lot of airports and does them very well. He only uses a few libraries, so he doesn't use lots and lots of libraries, and as you can see here, a lot of this is standard kind of Lego brick stuff. There are no custom buildings, and so that makes it look an awful lot better, I think, in my view. What TDG has managed to do is capture the essence of the airport. So while not every nut, bolt and panel may be accurate to the actual buildings, it does look very, very good, and having been there myself a couple of times in the real world, I can say that it is very, very good indeed. The one thing that is missing is that he hasn't put the light transit railway system in. That obviously is something that may need to be placed in, but it doesn't detract from the scenery. As you can see here, the gates and stands are very well realised as I zoom underneath them with my camera in free mode. One thing I dislike is the arrows on the ground there. They are a bit too large, but they're very helpful because you're never going to get lost at this airport, as they say. So as we got ready to climb aboard our Ryanair 737-800 bound for Prague, it was on the gate ready and waiting, so it was just a case of stepping on board and making sure that everything was in the right place, that the bag was under the seat and the case was in the overhead locker. And this gave me a chance to read the safety card in front of me here. So nothing too unusual. 2 emergency exits at the front, at the back, and 4 over the wings. Pretty standard fare. We pushed back and started to settle down for our flight to Czechoslovakia. As you can see, the lighting is HDR lighting. It's all very well placed. There's not too much of it, so I think it was quite accurate. And as we can see here, as we move towards the runway, aircraft waiting on stands.
Ladies and gentlemen, life jackets and loaded standard aircraft are situated in a panel just above your head, and it's otherwise told by a member of the crew. Thank you.
So as we come off stands and approach the runway, it's just getting a little bit lighter. As we went down the runway, the pilots opened throttles and off we went. As you can see, as we go down the runway here, you see the tower in the distance, and obviously rather well depicted in relation to the real world. You can see that the weather was very, very nice for the morning of the 23rd as we flew out to out towards Brussels, and then an hour and a half later found ourselves on approach for Praha. With just a few miles to go to land, I was looking forward to having a look at the airport, but unfortunately, as in most cases, once you land, you don't see really that much of an airport, you just see the inside of it. But once again, this has been done really well, and it's been done by a conglomerate of people, and was originally a Microsoft FS2004 airport, which was converted by a number of people. And what I shall do is I'll put a description below and links to where you can get this from, and of course where you can get Stanstead from. This airport is not available on Xplane.org. It is available on a VATSIM related site, and so I'll put a direct link there for you. As we came off the high-speed taxiway, it was almost straight into a stand. as you can see here. Once again, this airport has been really well done. It's really converted well. Taxi lines are bright and bold. Some of the signs on the ground are a little bit large, a bit too big for real life. As you see these numbers here on the ground, they're just a little bit too big, but you will not get lost at this airport. That is one thing for sure. You'll be able to find your way around and no problem at all. So as I say, this airport was converted from a 2004 airport, and it's been done really well. There are a couple of things missing, such as HDR lighting. So there's a number of lit textures that are used at night time, but that doesn't detract from the airport at all. And as we pulled onto stand, as usual, engines were shut down very quickly, and we were able to disembark and start our trip in Prague. I'd just like to thank the captain and the first officer who took us down to Czechoslovakia. This was the captain on the flight, very nice young man, welcomed me onto the cockpit, and the co-pilot, who was somewhat oddly dressed, I have to say, but they got us there safe and sound. So here's the airport with some really nice buildings. Obviously, with this being a conversion, these are all custom buildings because they were made for the 2004 version. But once again, it's an airport that stands very well and looks very good within the Xplane environment. The light poles unfortunately do not produce HDR lighting, so maybe a treatment needs to be done where HDR lighting is put in. But the terminals are very, very well made, good 3D buildings, and the conversion looks pretty good. Only one thing I would say which is slightly disappointing is that the city of Prague to the east is not as detailed as it could be, although I do believe there is some city scenery available which I will need to check out, but at present the OSM data is not as good as it could be. As you can see, the glass in the main terminal looks really nice, and when it lights up at night, even though it's a lit texture and not HDR, it does look very, very good indeed. As I say, you'll never get lost at this airport. You'll always find your stands, taxiways, because they're well marked out. And as usual, with 3D buildings in Xplane, you can mess around underneath and go wandering around. So here we are back at our stand, 737-800, and we'll just zoom out a little bit and see the airport in its location. So there we are, you can see the airport fully in location, blends in really well. Prague, as I say, is a beautiful city. There's Prague Castle, the largest castle complex in the world. We had a wonderful time for 2 days, and here we are at night, another one of the government buildings. As always, my name's Wycliffe Barrett, Xplane dedicated. Cheerio! Yeah.